Welcome back to the Irish Bandit channel, or if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I, as always, am your host, the one, the only, the second Irish Bandit. Last time around, when I did Let Me Book, I asked the WWE to let me book something. So now I'm asking AEW the same thing. So recently, we have seen the emergence of MJF, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, as AEW World Heavyweight Champion. We saw a few weeks ago on Dynamite something really interesting pop up, where you had this wonderful promo battle between MJF, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, Sammy Guevara, and Darby Allin. Now, I think highly of all four of these men in the ring. I think they are the future of professional wrestling. So it was great to see them all share some screen time, share some mic time, because all four of them are really good on the mic, especially MJF. He can blow anybody out of the water. Sammy Guevara, I think, is very underrated on the mic. Darby Allin, he's not really known for his promo skills, but when he gets a mic in his hands, he's as good as anyone. And I think, given who his father was, Jack Perry could have that charisma if he so chooses to use it. I'm not dissing Jack Perry in any way, shape, or form. I think he's great. He has had some of the most stellar matches, including one with MJF back when the pandemic was in full swing. But I really love how they're doing this right now, too, because when MJF won the AEW World Championship, he beat Jon Moxley, a former WWE guy. His first challenger was Bryan Danielson, a former WWE guy. So now, for the next little while, let's get away from the ex-WWE guys and go for the homegrown talent in AEW. So, when you look at the four of them, they are the four pillars of AEW. They were there since day one. So, how do we do this? How do we get to All Out, or not All Out, Double or Nothing? And who challenges MJF for the AEW Championship? Well, that's why I'm here today, and I'm asking AEW, let me book the four pillars of AEW to Double or Nothing. So who are the four pillars of AEW? Well, like I said before, they're Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, Sammy Guevara, and Darby Allin. They've been around since the very beginning. MJF, Jungle Boy, and Sammy Guevara were, I think, at the very first pay-per-view. And Darby Allin didn't show up until the very first Fyter Fest when he took on Cody Rhodes in a fantastic match. That is the match that made me a fan of Darby Allin. So they've been around since the very beginning. But when I look back at the promo from a couple weeks ago, from between the four of them after MJF beat Bryan Danielson in that great 60-minute Iron Man match, Jack Perry said something very interesting on that, where after the match he had with MJF, what pay-per-view was that again? I think that was Double or Nothing 2020. I think that was when it was. I may be wrong. Let me know in the comment section down below. But after that match, it seemed like MJF had a rocket strapped to his back and just excelled up the card, whereas Jack Perry, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, they all wrestled on Dark Elevation, on the YouTube shows. Then Rampage eventually came along. That's like a step down from Dynamite, whereas Dark, saying nothing because I had a couple friends wrestle on Dark Elevation recently. Like, Dark Elevation is like down here, roundabouts. So, but it's one of those things where, you have to pay your dues first and foremost before you can get a sniff of time on Dynamite. So, you had the three other guys busting their asses on Dark Elevation, Rampage, and now they're all on the main show, because this is being filmed right after Dynamite. Cutting it pretty close here. But this was filmed right after Dynamite, so you saw all four guys on the show tonight in some way, shape, or form. Words are hard. So you had this great segment with MJF. It was they were coming from Long Island, New York, and that's MJF's home. So he's coming out doing the whole lounge singer thing, and the man is a great singer. Just putting it out there. The thing he did with Chris Jericho a couple years back when the pandemic was underway, And he was trying to get into the inner circle and doing the whole me and my shadow thing with Chris Jericho. Fantastic stuff. I don't care what anybody says. That was great based on, just riding on MJF's charisma itself. So you saw all four guys on the show tonight in some way, shape, or form. Near the end of MJF's segment, Jungle Boy came out in a disguise, clanged a couple cymbals behind MJF. I wish he would have clanged him around his head. That would have been comedy gold. But they got into a knocky draggy, as Brian Zane likes to say. On the ramp, Sammy Guevara came out, held up the AEW championship, and then just shoved it at MJF. Went out and had a match with Commander and had a really great match with him too. So, and then watching from the rafters doing the whole Sting bit was Darby Allin. So we're seeing them all, and I think we're going to might see Darby Allin compete next week, which would be great. And then you have like Sammy Guevara watching everything. But I know how I would do this, how I would get to Double or Nothing, and who would be challenging MJF for the AEW Championship. So let's get into it. So we leave MJF's rebar mitzvah the way it was. That was perfect. That was perfectly done. I loved every second of it. From MJF just keeping the sunglasses on because his eyes were so messed up after that match, after the match he had with Bryan Danielson. So he was wearing sunglasses. You couldn't see what was on. The fuzzy Burberry hat he was wearing. Getting knocked into the cake. All of that was perfect. Leave it as is. Leave everybody's promos the way as is. From, you're getting MJF all my sugar up in this bitch. Okay. We leave that. We leave Darby Allin's great response, about how a lot of wrestlers are jumping on Twitter and being, I'm unhappy. I want out of my contract. And you're a part of that with the whole bidding war of 2024. You know what I'm going to do if I don't get an AEW championship? I'm just going to complain about it on Twitter. That was perfect. Leave it as is. Now, they haven't really done much with it since. So here's what I would do. The following week, after that Dynamite a few weeks ago, you have MJF come out to the ring, and he's slagging all three of them again, like he always does, because MJF doesn't wrestle a lot. He's a good wrestler, but he doesn't wrestle a lot, and that's part of his gimmick, and I love that about him. So he comes out and says, he cuts a typical MJF promo. I can never script an MJF promo because nobody can. That all has to be done from MJF's head. The way he delivers a promo is just fantastic. But the basic gist of it is he comes out and just runs all through them saying, you've done nothing in AEW, which they have. Like, come on. Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara, former TNT champions. Jungle Boy won the AEW Tag Team Championships with Luchasaurus. So they've all won championships. They just haven't had the opportunity for the big one yet. And that's going to be their thing. It's all about opportunity. No, you don't deserve an opportunity. You don't deserve to be in the ring with MJF. No way, shape, or form do you deserve to be in the ring with MJF. But I'll tell you what I'll do. Because I am a fair man. That gets a big response from the crowd because they know how unfair MJF really is. So because I'm a fair man, we can have a race to the gold, or call it whatever you want to call it. What's going to happen now from here until a specific date before Double or Nothing? MJF says, you three have to win every match that you are in to get a shot at my AEW championship. It's the same thing he did with Daniel Bryan, because this is what MJF does. He does the same things. He puts people through trials to get them to the match. So, and then he's like, if none of you win, none of you get a championship opportunity. I get Double or Nothing off. See you later. Bye. So we start this the very next week after that promo, after he tells him, you have to win every match. We start off with Jungle Boy. He takes on Lee Moriarty, sure, let's say, whatever. Beats him. The following week, Darby Allin, he takes on Big Bill. Such a dumb name. You should have kept him with W. Morrissey, or Kaz XL, whichever. Either one sounds better than Big Bill, but that's neither here nor there. And he beats Big Bill. Sammy Guevara takes on, let's say, tonight's match is against Commander. Beats him. This keeps going on for a little while, splitting up between Dynamite and Rampage, because, like I said in the intro, Rampage, if Dynamite is here, Rampage is right about here. So You have this going on in Rampage as well, where they're wrestling on both shows, trying to get all these wins to get to this match with MJF at Double or Nothing. So a couple weeks later on Dynamite, Sammy Guevara takes on, let's say, Hook, because he needs to look good, and Hook is probably one of the best there is right now. Hook goes over Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara is out. MJF comes down the ring, laughs at him. Ha, 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 you schmuck. I told you you'd lose, you're out. You don't get a championship. You don't get a championship opportunity at Double or Nothing. Now these two idiots need to lose too. So now it comes down between Jack Perry and Darby Allin, and they're just accumulating win after win after win after win, heading up to the week before Double or Nothing. So we come out on the go home show to Double or Nothing on Dynamite, and both Jack Perry and Darby have the same number of wins over the past few weeks. So it's like, okay, so what do we do now? I'm trying to think who could be in charge. Pat Buck, let's say, comes out and says, okay, what we're going to do is going to be a triple threat. MJF's like, no, there's not going to be no goddamn triple threat. No, I'm not taking on two guys. One of them has to earn it. I don't care who. I'd rather they both lose. That way, I take the night off. I don't even show up at Double or Nothing. Buck's like, no, we have to figure something out. Darby and Perry, Jungle Boy, just look at each other and says, why don't we have a one-on-one match? And the winner goes on to Double or Nothing to take on MJF. Is that good with you, Max? I don't care. Okay, match is on. Ring the bell. So I know when the dynamic is face versus face or heel versus heel, it's hard to get into the match when it's not like good guy versus bad guy. But, with the athletic ability of both Jack Perry and Darby Allin, this is going to be a great match. They're both going hard for this opportunity for the AEW Championship. MJF is up in the skybox by this point because, you go to commercial break and then the match starts. MJF is up in the skybox watching this to see who his next challenger is going to be. So Jack and Darby have just this banger of a match because I know they can. They're both fantastic. Goes back and forth, back and forth. You give them about 20 minutes. You go through 2 ad breaks. It is going to be a classic. I love watching the way I watch because I watch the international feed, and so I don't miss a thing with picture-in-picture. So they have just a classic match. Might not get 5 stars in the Tokyo Dome, but it'll be a great match, great TV match nonetheless. It ends when Jungle Boy traps Darby in the snare trap, and Darby's left with no choice. It's like, no, dude, you're the better man. I give up. Darby taps out, which leads Jungle Boy to main event Double or Nothing against MJF for the AEW World Championship. In his skybox, MJF is flipping out. He doesn't want to wrestle Jungle Boy. He doesn't want to. He made it clear he didn't want to wrestle any of the 3 of them. He wanted to have the night off, but now he's contractually obligated to defend the title. Like, you can play this up throughout the rest of the show. So, like, if MJF doesn't appear at Double or Nothing, he's stripped of the title and he's suspended for an indeterminate amount of time. So this kind of forces MJF's hand to appear at the pay-per-view. So, excuse me again. So this leads to a Jungle Boy MJF match that is going to top the last match they had together. And it's going to be a great back and forth match, but it's going to be the typical MJF match. I can't say I hate to say it, but it's how he works and what he's good at. So it's a typical MJF match full of cheating, full of chicanery. It ends when... I'm trying to think. Ends how it normally ends for an MJF match. He grabs the Dynamite Diamond Ring, clocks Jack Perry with it, lays him out, 1, 2, 3. Now, this is the thing where a lot of people are going to be like, oh yeah, MJF should lose it as soon as possible. No, he shouldn't. He should hold on to the AEW Championship for a long time. Like, maybe not as long as Roman Reigns has held the Universal Championship, but he should at least hold it until, maybe past Full Gear. Like, that's going a long time, yes. But he needs to establish himself as champion. He needs to show what a good chicken shit heel he can be as champion, like always dodging challengers. Like once MJF gets back into a corner, then it's like, okay, it's on now, and he can actually prove he is a great wrestler as well. Like, look at the man's physique as well. He's really put a lot of work into himself. So we just play this up the entire time he's champion until you can build that one solid babyface challenger who can beat MJF. I don't, this is where it's tough, because I'd rather it not be an ex-WWE guy or somebody they bring back because they think it's clobbering time. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge CM Punk fan. I don't want to see him back in AEW. He's more trouble than what he's worth, honestly and truly. Yeah, he's a great draw, but there's a lot of baggage that comes with CM Punk, and I don't want to see AEW get bogged down by that. So, but you take somebody who's been part of AEW since day one, and you build them up as that solid baby face who can take down this ruthless jerk of a champion and finally hold the championship. I don't know if it'd be Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, whoever. I do want to see another Kenny Omega championship run. I don't know if it should be at the expense of MJF. So, but that's how I would do it, honestly. You get these three guys battling it out, trying to get as many wins as possible during a set amount of time, and then it's just go until the best man wins. But what do you think? How should AEW book the four pillars of AEW, and who do you think should be the one to dethrone MJF? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd really love to read your thoughts on this one. While you're down there, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. In the description, you're going to see all the ways you can help support this channel. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and Reddit. You can get your Irish Bandit merchandise from my Irish Bandit shop on redbubble.com. You can get your copy of my 5-star rated novel, Shade Falling, on Amazon. You can get that through either Kindle e-reader or on paperback. And you can buy me a coffee. Well, right now, I have a goal set up where I want to get some Elgato gear for my PC. You can help make that happen in the link down below. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, tap the bell and you'll be notified whenever a brand new video goes live. Tomorrow is Good Friday, and tomorrow means more Final Fantasy VII Remake. And then next week, we got more Cabin Fever, we got more BioShock, and of course, we've got more Final Fantasy VII Remake. So be sure to join me for that. I will post what is coming up next week on my Facebook page, on my Twitter page, and on the community tab here on YouTube. I post that every Sunday to let you know what is coming for the week. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Mincy Moon, who shared my video on Monday of 3 VTubers who are amazing in her Discord. Just so much love for her. So thank you, Mincy. Thank you to your community, to the Ice Cream Outlaws. Love you guys, and you are absolutely awesome. So until tomorrow and more Final Fantasy VII, I'll talk to you then. I never know how to end these things. Let's wrap it up.